You know, I wonder if this is one of those situations where the little brother ends up becoming bigger than the big brother. Hey, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and review on these potential bad boys right here. This, my friends, is the Nike G.T Cut Academy, which is the little brother or the baby brother to the G.T Cut 3s, which is pretty crazy because these right here are half of the retail price of these guys, which is insane. And you would think that they would just reuse a bunch of to like save money and stuff, but they didn't. They actually created a brand new shoe with new molds, new templates, different materials entirely, different tech specs, all that stuff. So this to me is pretty wild when you think about things in the grand scheme of things and Nike's overall history. Now real quick, the GT line does come in GT line boxes. So in case you guys have never bought a GT Cut model, or not a GT Cut, but just a GT model in general, they typically come in the GT box, which means greater than, in case you didn't know. But these guys come in this box.
Awesome. Wow.
Now, as far as the outsole is concerned, we've got something that's very similar to the original, and by the original, I mean just the GT Cut 3. Same exact tread pattern, so you got that same type of like alternate herringbone. Different outsoles completely though. Again, this is something really weird and out of the ordinary for Nike to spend the money to create this mold, and then also spend the money to create this mold. And yeah, and they're so much cheaper, even though they spent money to make these. It doesn't make sense. But anyways, what I think though is that both of these are gonna be elite performers depending on your court conditions. I think that, believe it or not, this one right here, the cheaper guy, the Academies, will have greater performance on multiple different like variety of courts. So whether your court is dusty or needs to be refinished, or it's brand new, or you play on vinyl, or you play on like carpet tile in your church, I think that this is gonna provide the best traction between the two. Is that going to be fair? Because those are 190 and these are 95. I mean, that's not really my decision. It's not yours either. You can clearly buy this one instead of that one. It just depends on what you want. Do you want a top tier performer no matter the name attached or the price point attached? Or are you the type of player that just wants the newest, latest, and greatest? But anyways, I feel like this outsole is going to perform just more consistently on more different varieties of floors than the GT Cut 3s, mainly because it's solid rubber. Are there going to be translucent rubber options? I'm sure there might be, but so far this is what we've got. And this one just feels like it's just going to be a little bit better. It also will probably last a little bit longer outdoors. And by a little bit, I really emphasize the word little. It's not going to be like, oh my gosh, these are crazy, they're great for outdoors. No, it's still an indoor shoe. It's just that when you compare them to this one, like the tread patterns, just there's more of it. It's tighter together, the compound's different, stuff like that. So when you do a direct comparison, this one will last slightly longer than this one. Now the cushioning is where they really kind of like switch things up between the two models. Again, this is really weird when you think about like what a takedown really is. A takedown is supposed to be something that hits a different price point consumer. That's the first thing. And the second thing, and possibly the most important thing, is that it's for the brand to be able to reuse stuff from this shoe onto this shoe so that it doesn't cost them as much. You know what I mean? Like they're supposed to save you money and them. They could have easily have taken this outsole and midsole and just changed Zoom X and put in Cushlon and just called it a day. Been like, yeah, that's the shoe. They didn't though. It's completely original. It's so weird. But anyways, as far as the tech information is concerned, these do have Zoom Air. That's something where a lot of people were kind of pissed, honestly, that the GT Cut 3 doesn't have any zoom in it at all. It's just all foam. People are like, 190 for no zoom? You're a monster! I will say that the implementation of the Zoom Air in this thing is just dumb. For one, it's bottom loaded. That's already questionable. For two, it's the rectangle stick of gum zoom. Second thing that's questionable. Third is that instead of it going this way, like with all of your strike zone, like it's not the palm of your foot, but you know where the ball of your foot is and over to that like fifth metatarsal area, that's where the majority of your impact or strike zones are for the majority of people when they play a sport, especially a lateral sport like basketball where you're moving linearly and laterally. And so instead of them putting the bar so that it would actually, like, I don't know, protect all of the foot during any of its potential strikes in the forefoot, they put it this way in the middle. Like, what is that gonna do? Just bring these back. If you want to go cheap, you know what I mean, and go minimal as far as Zoom Air is concerned, bring that back. It was great for somebody like, I don't know, Kobe Bryant, you know, one of the greatest of all time. So why would you switch this and then put a rectangle zoom going this way in the middle of your foot?
If I know.
Now on top of all of that is actually a dual density foam setup, which is really interesting because I wasn't expecting that with something this affordable, that sub 100 level. So we have just basic Phylon, like, you know, lightweight material, all that stuff, durable, lasts long. But then inside of that, there's a dual layer of an additional foam. What is that foam?
The world may never know.
All they said on their description of the Nike.com like product description was dual density foam setup. And everybody's like, what the f does that mean? Well, what kind of other foam is there? All I can tell you is that when I put them on, they're f***ing comfortable. That's great, especially for something that costs 95 bucks when these were 190. Are they more comfortable than these? I don't know. I would say that they're kind of like on par with one another, which also might sound bad, even though I know that Zoom X is just a better foam. Like, it's more resilient, it's more absorbent as far as impact goes. It's also more of an energy return system. However, when we're talking just straight up feel and performance, like, there's nothing wrong with this. They've been using stuff like this forever, you know what I mean? So like, this is not a bad thing, and especially for the price. Now the upper on these guys is where they really start to switch things up. The original shoe was a mixture of different materials like textiles and fuses and microfibers and stuff like this. This one is really bare bones. It's all synthetic everything. You've got heat welded material right here at the toe. You've got synthetic leather on the eye stay and on the heel. The rest of it is just a basic ass textile build. It's literally nothing special, and I think that's what's great about it. There's literally no frills in here. There's no gimmicks. There's nothing that you don't need. It's everything that you would want in a basketball shoe without like the glitz and glamour, you know what I mean? So again, if you're one of those players that you're just like, hey, I just need something that's going to be reliable, this is it. The insole is nothing special. I can't really pull it out because it's like hella glued in there, and I don't want to like ruin them or anything, because we're going to send these over to Alan so that he can test both of these guys and give a performance review on each. But they are removable, and it is of the light blue ortholite, so just a cheap ass insole. If you need something additional in there, like extra torsion support or maybe even extra cushion, I would suggest removing that insole right before you play in them and swapping it out for whatever other insole you might want. Other than that though, just leave them as is and you should be fine. Now, as far as fit is concerned, they do fit true to size, so whatever you typically wear, that's exactly what I would order. As far as a comparison between the two, size-wise, these are both the same exact size, and these fit way more snug than these. Like, these I could get away with wearing, even though they're not my size, they're half a size down. But these guys right here, I put them on and I was like, nah, bro, that's not happening. You know what I mean? Like, if I played in these, I would f my feet up. I would say that this is gonna be a more widely universal type of fit. Like, this will fit more people better, like a snug fit. That's something that you would actually want, that one-to-one. Whereas the GT Cut 3s may be a little loose in certain areas for certain people. You know what I mean? Especially if you're maybe a wide footer and you go up half a size or whatever it might be. Like, this might be one of those shoes that is not a perfect one-to-one for everyone. Now, if you were gonna ask me personally, like, hey dude, which one would you buy to play in? Like, if you still played basketball, I would probably go with this one. I know this one looks cooler, it sounds cooler, it's got the new tech in it and all that stuff. However, 190 bucks ain't cheap, bro. Even if you're rich, that's expensive. I get that it might be not expensive for you and your budget, that's cool, but for someone like me, I grew up without all of that stuff. So this right here, I'd be totally happy with. So I don't think that anybody should complain if you get this one instead of the other one or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I think that everything that's in here should be good to go. But anyways, that pretty much takes care of these guys. Again, this is the GT Cut Academy. It's the first takedown in the GT line. For one, do you think that they should come in a GT box? Do you think that that's the reason why they're a whole $95 cheaper? I don't think so. That's just me messing around. It's definitely just like the other I don't understand that whole thing though. They clearly spent money to make these. So like, how are they that much cheaper? I don't get it. Are there more of these than there are of those? Like, did they just buy more? You know what I mean? Like, there's more quantity, so like it lessens the price per unit.
Maybe they're hoping that because these are so affordable, it will get those people to grab them, and then it'll make those people curious about spending their money on their higher.
Really?
It's a thought.
It is a thought. It's an interesting one. But sound off below and let us know. Are you willing to spend $190 on flash and pizzazz? Or, nah bro, I need straight performance. I don't need all that other shit. This is good enough. Sound off below and let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys. Stay tuned for a performance review. Hopefully we'll do one on each model, and then within one of those videos, whichever one comes next, like the second one, you know what I mean? Like, these will probably get reviewed first because it's the hot ticket item. But then when this one's getting reviewed, hopefully there's a little bit more of a comparison, kind of like in this video, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, which one performed better in certain aspects. But that pretty much takes care of it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. You can check out our podcast. It's on hiatus hiatus right now just because of the new year. We're just kind of taking a break. But there's how many episodes? 16, 17?
16.
16 episodes. So you could go check those out. We'll restart that probably next month. Where are we in the month?
We're not quite halfway through January.
Okay. If you wanted some longer format type of content from the two of us and you wanted to know our thoughts on random check out the podcast. It's awesome. But yeah, that pretty much takes care of it. Thank you guys again for everything. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. So until then, have a good one.